Hello. Oh, just in time. Silly. Do you need the poll back? Do you need to see? You literally, hold on, here. Evidently my light's not on. Cat couch, you got it. Oh, that's making a terrible sound. Please don't do that. How are you all? How was your week? I hope that you all had a good week. My week was exhausting. It was really good, but it was really tiring. I have pictures to show you and videos to show you. And I have yarn to show you. Because the kiddos got to pick out their blankets. And oh my goodness. That's a story. And there was a lot happening. I discovered I was very bored between 3 and 6 because I'm so used to being here, but otherwise pretty good. No, honestly felt. It's actually really funny. We got back on Thursday night, like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I was like, maybe I'll stream on Friday. And instead, I basically got like nothing done because I just needed to decompress. I was like, I really miss chat and it would be really nice. And it would have been really nice. And I did really miss you, but I also was like, I'll see them all on Monday. Kind of bad. Oh no, I'm sorry. My schedule's all kind of thrown off. I'm sorry. Hi, Tizza. It's good to see you all. Sometimes I need a vacation from the vacation. Honestly, though. Like, why does my camera feel? Maybe it's just that. Before we get into all of the pictures and story time and things like that, I would like to get an opinion, please, because the cross stitch that I designed is currently in testing, and one of my testers has a question. Hi, James. So the way that I have done the letter K in freaking, they noticed that, I guess, hi, Saren, that the K kind of hits a little higher than the middle of all the other letters. So we're trying to figure out if I should change the way that that letter looks. Hello, Saren. Hello, Raiders. Welcome in. I know a lot of us over from Saren's stream know what to expect here today, but hi, if you haven't been here before, welcome. My name is Megan. I am a neurodivergent variety crafter. I am usually cross-stitching, crocheting, or knitting, but we also do other things here, like diamond dots and perler beads and miniatures. There's a lot of cats. If you like cats, I've got some really good news for you. There's 4 cats in my house right now. 1 is a foster and 3 are my own. It is, yeah, it's a zoo constantly in, good ways. Saren, let my chat know what you were doing today if they weren't over there with you. And let me get your raid star set up. Also, it's my birthday in a week. And yeah, I'm excited. Also, we're like about 30% of the way funded to get a Switch too. So people have been donating towards that for my birthday, which has been very sweet. But I have I'm trying to have some fun stuff planned for next week. If you missed it, I was just gone for a week because we had a family trip, where me, my mom, my dad, my brother, and his husband came all together. We went to the Poconos. And my brother and his hubby brought along their foster kids who they are in the process of adopting. So it was the first, oh, and James, yeah. I'm so used to you just being a part of, like, me going somewhere. Like, that's so funny to, I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know, you're part of the, anyway, James was there too, yeah. Of course he was there, what do you mean, we're one person, anyway. So yeah, it was really cool, it was the first time we got to meet the kids. Rude, okay. Well, then you up and left me, so you know what? I'm allowed to be rude. We're about to get into pictures. Now, all pictures, there will not be any kids' faces in these pictures, not only because they're not my kids and I don't put kids' faces on the internet, but also because, again, since they're in the process, they're their foster kids right now, they're not adopted. I couldn't show you their faces even if I want to, so either it's back of heads or it's obscured, and they're going to be known as Little Sis and Big Bro, because you don't need to know their names either, even once they're adopted. I will show you pictures. There's also, oh, I should probably bring him in here. I finished 2 Mew, which if you missed it, an AI crochet pattern tricked me. The first time ever. The photo, they're getting smarter. It didn't look AI. And so we started making it on stream, and then I realized that it was a fake. And so I finished making it off camera, and I brought it with me on this trip to take some very cursed pictures. Because, hang on, I'll show you what it was supposed to look like. So also, if you missed it, we will be working on creating my own pattern based off of the photo. Obviously not off of the pattern because it doesn't actually make anything. But the photo itself is something that can be turned into crochet. It's just people are lazy. So we're going to be not lazy and we're going to figure it out. Okay? Okay. But here, if you want to see, Saren, tell me. Because so far, everyone that I have shown this to has been like, oh, I see, oh. Does that look like an AI pattern? Because it doesn't to me. That looks like actual stitches. Also, Tizza, thank you for the 20 stream streak. It has knots, it has connections. Like, this to me, those are AI patterns. It's too smooth, it doesn't make sense. But like this. But even the top, like, that's just a loop for the keychain. Like, yeah. I hate this timeline. I agree. I agree. There's even, like, slight fuzz and stuff. It's awful. Okay, so I need to get your thoughts really quick. And, I know I have some peeps here who are also cross-stitchers, and so I would like to get your thoughts. So, like I said, this pattern is coming out soon. It's coming out this month. It's in testing right now, okay? I'm going to make a bunch of these with different fill-in-the-blank name tag bits, okay? I obviously stitched this K one way. My tester was mentioning that I guess the middle of the K, right? Like the bit, is this a blank piece of paper? Perfect. Like the bit where the little bit touches is not like at the middle, which is fair, it's not. So I want to know, should we do it like the top or do it like the bottom? There is no right or wrong here. I just don't know what you would prefer. So I figured I would ask you guys. Because K's to me are all like, this was in my mind what it looked like. Bottom? Bottom. Bottom? Okay. See, and this is why it's good to ask. I'm not a cross-stitcher visually, I prefer the top. Hi, by the way. Hi. Both look like K, but I prefer, yeah. Okay. Perfect. Also, hi. I prefer top. Yeah, and this is why it was funny because my tester was like, well, do you want me to wait? And I was like, I want to ask chat because I genuinely, in my mind, both are fine. Like, there's not an obvious, oh, that's the right way and that's the wrong way. So I was like, let me see what chat prefers and we can go from there. Okay, so overwhelmingly the bottom. We have a couple of tops. Sorry, I'm fine. Hi, Kate. What? We also have some people who probably like both. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a preference. In my Christian Minecraft server? Anyway, okay. So that's your answer, tester. James, don't shame. Okay. Do you guys want to see 2Mew in person, or do you want to see his photos first? I think in person, maybe? I don't know. He's sitting in the living room. So it was supposed to be a Mewtwo, but since obviously it's really not, we went with 2Mew. Because just reverse it. In person? Okay. Hold, please. Okay. So I made this exactly how that website told me to. Okay? That means the color changes where they said to. That means the exact number of rows, the exact amount of parts. I preface that because there are no like little ear thingies, whatever those are on the top of Mewtwo's head. The tail. The tail is something to behold. Are we ready? Drum roll. Dun 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 dun. This is fine. Cute, but in a cursed way. Excellent facial expression. Yeah, this is literally what that website, that was the pattern with the photo. So yeah. He's a Ditto's. You know what? Maybe it's a Ditto's first time trying to transform. So just in case you haven't been watching, this is where we are right now with me remaking it based off of just the photo. We actually have something that resembles a Mewtwo versus this guy. I love him too. I think absolutely cursed. So let's start our journey. All right. That's the wrong window. Hang on. I don't want to get copyright striked by the song. So we drove through a tunnel. Well, actually, technically, we drove through a mountain. That's what that tunnel was for. We're under a mountain right now. Magical. Gotta love the Northeast, right? There's the light. Don't go towards the light, too, Mew. Don't go towards it. Okay. Anyway, yeah, see, we literally drove under that. That's a good length tunnel, it is. And then we stopped for lunch. And he had a french fry. And then we were getting ready to go. He also found brochures. And he really wanted to go to Wild West City. Hang on, let me... There we go. That fry is taller than he is. I didn't think about it. He looks so overstimulated. He does. I didn't think about it. I also got onion rings, and I should have put one on him, like either a little hat or like a hula hoop. Oh well. We'll just have to do it again. He really wanted to go to the Wild West City. And then he also found a store that was all about toys, and he thought he belonged there. Onion ring pool floaty. I have no idea where any of these places are, honestly. We didn't go to any of them. I will say that, like, some of the brochures there were for places that were, like, 50 to 100 miles away, because we grabbed, like, another brochure. I was going to take pictures, and we thought it was, like, for the local area. Y'all, it was for the county that I grew up in, which was, like, 55 miles from where we were at this rest stop. And I guess if people are driving in that direction, it gives them something to do. But it was really funny because, like, James just grabbed it. He saw it was, like, a local, and as we're walking to the car, I'm like, hun, I don't think that I need a brochure for this area. I think I know about it. And then we were back on the road. It was very pretty. And then we got there, and it was going to be, like, one of the nicer days. And so we had planned on taking the kids fishing. It ended up being really hot because there was no shade. And so I did not stay very long because I started overheating pretty fast. But instant buddies here. Lil sis, like, it was honestly really funny because we got there and Big Bro saw me first. And as we were walking up to the house, I was like, hey, and I said his name, and you could see him be like, and then he ran away screaming, and I'm like, I just scared the snot out of him because they don't know me yet. And it was great. Because everyone was playing outside. And yeah, stranger danger, how does she know my name? And I'm like, ugh. But they helped set up the fishing rods. and there was lots of questions and lots of big help, you know? So little sis just turned 5 and big bro is 8. So they are cutie patooties. Very sweet. This is their... We won't go into, like, you know, too much because we don't want to, you know... We don't want to talk about traumatic things in stream. But we'll just say that this is their 6th foster home in 3 years. And they have had some struggles. And there was some struggles on this trip, some big feels and some hard things. The boys did officially become their foster parents on Friday before they left. Like, before, they were staying at a different family's house, and they would see my brother and Ryan on, like, you know, weekends kind of thing. And the other family did them a solid by being like, because they knew that they were going to move forward with the adoption, they were like, we can't house them anymore. Even though there wasn't an issue, but that way that forced them to get, like, to move basically sooner. So, because originally they weren't going to be able to have them, like, full time until partway into the school year. And, like, that's a lot for kids to have to move in the middle of a school year and change everything. And so it was really kind, actually, the way that their previous home handled things. So, you know, that would have been, agreed. 100% agreed. They are tiny. They were really malnourished in one foster home. So, they are doing a lot better, but there was a lot of, like, you know, struggles with eating and, you know, just general, there were struggles. But they are so flippin' sweet. Oh my god. Here. So, instantly buddies. James and little sis were like this. Like, it was really sweet. She loved him. Making friends in a class just to have the change again. Especially, again, if you think about it, if they have done 6 homes in 3 years, they have changed schools, more than likely, multiple times already. And, like, that's a lot. That's a lot. And this was, like, the first time that they met any of us. So, like, this was within, like, 15 minutes of us getting there. There's us. The place was really nice, like the Airbnb. And I don't know if they, like, treated... I didn't get a single mosquito bite there. I could have lived there. It was cooler. It was woodsy. There were deer all over the place. And I didn't get a single bug bite. Done. Literally, it was one of those things, like, looking at her and James, it reminded me again of how much and why I love him. It just... the way that kids just feel safe around him. And let their guard down. Like, ugh, love it. Yeah. It was really nice. And there was a lot, like, for us to do, and it was cute. Like, every day we all played, like, Mario Kart a little bit together, because that's like one of Big Brother's favorite games. Being a non-parent adult in a kid's life is so special. Oh my gosh, is it ever? It's the best. Because then, you know, when things started kicking, like, we honestly talked with the boys a lot. There was a lot, like, and this also was kind of exhausting in some ways. Every night after the kids went to bed, we all would sit down and kind of almost like powwow and try and figure out, like problem solve the stuff that's going on. Because there was a lot going on. It was not quiet the first few days. It was not relaxing. And so we would all just kind of sit and kind of bounce ideas off of each other. So a debrief, yeah. Then we went to the lake. We did not catch a single fish. But that's okay. They're so cute. Look at her little arms. She's so cute. I know. It takes a community now, yeah. Well, and especially because, I mentioned this in Saren's stream, the boys, they haven't even had their 1-year wedding anniversary yet. And now they're parents to two slightly older kids with trauma, with baggage, with fears and anxieties that you wouldn't normally see in a kid. And so there was a lot of like, we wrote lists because, they're going to have to take them to doctors, get checkups, do all these other things. Here's stuff to bring up about, concern. Like, it was a lot. And to have like people there who, I don't have kids, but I nannied for over a decade. My parents obviously have had kids, like, and just to be able to be like, hey, and again, with my background in psychology, to be like, hey, you might want to look into this. Hey, you should probably ask about this. Hey, you should, and whatever. So this was like our first day. You could see that there is no shade where we were, and I was like, I stayed for like maybe 30 minutes, and then I'm like, I have to go back to the house. I'm dying. Ugh. Little peanuts. Little cuties. And then my dad needed to get involved in the pictures. Please note that there's not even a hook. He was just having fun. He's like, look, I caught a big one. Take a picture. So since you all know Moat Dad, I figured I'd throw that in for the slideshow. Yeah, it wasn't even that it was that hot. It was just with no shade, it was unbearable. Like the breeze, it wasn't a bad temperature day, but just baking in the sun, can't do it. This was the house. It's like an Airbnb that we dads. Oh, absolutely. That's where I get my sense of humor from. And my favorite was just there's a couple of pictures here. All the toys, just everywhere. This. So remember how last time we had the worst cat sitters? And they were terrorizing our cats, and truly our cats were like they were traumatized. Like they did not do what. This was when I checked in one day, what I discovered. That's Soot's dad on the floor playing with Mittens. And Soot's mom, who had just come up from feeding Maple. Right? And instantly when I saw that, I was like, okay, things are gonna be okay. Like, things are gonna be okay. And Soot's dad has even already said that he would like to come back and play with Mittens more. Right? That's me as a cat sitter too. I'll like bum shuffle around the floor following the cat. Yeah. So the cats were great. I got pictures and updates every day. Came back. No one had an upset tummy. Everyone is eating normally, using the bathroom. Everything is fine. Everything was fine. And I don't know if I have it here, but I did post it on Maple's Instagram. Maple actually snuggled Soot's mom, and there's a photo that she shared of him on her lap. And so I'm so thrilled because Maple did not do that last time. And the only people he does that to are my dad. My dad, obviously, and James and I. So the fact that he was like, I'm gonna snuggle this stranger. He avoided her the first few days, which is fine. And Artemis was her usual self, and Pippin evidently by the end was like kind of peeking out from down the hall. So I'll take it. Mittens, like I said to them, was the one that was going to need like the most interaction, and yeah. Okay. When I tell you best friends chat, this was the first night. They came back from fishing. We're cooking, they're watching TV. Besties. So cute. Oh, Tumu found, well, I should say the Lego minifigures found him and were thoroughly, distraught by what he looked like. So, you know, they trapped him. Yeah. Ran over, crawled into your lap like day one, yeah. That's the picture I shared on Discord. Those were the lamps in our bedroom. And he was just like, soon. Soon, chat, soon. The lamps, I have like a piece of hair that's just like, boop, look at this guy. That's, what are you doing? He said soon. That was him in the bed. He found a pole in the little blanket and he was investigating it. And then we went to, was this the next day? It might have been. We went to Jim Thorpe, which is like a town named after an athlete, and they had like a really cool train ride that we were going on that like took you through the mountains, and it was like they told you all this stuff. And so everyone was really excited to ride in the dome car. Bad news, chat. We bought the tickets for the dome car. It was not worth that price. If you ever go, the ride is lovely. The ride is lovely. Don't shell out the extra money for that car. Get the air-conditioned one if it's the summer. Don't get the open-aired one unless it's cool and it's not going to rain. The dome car, stupid. So it was interesting, right? But what I pictured when I saw the picture, like the way that I envisioned the inside of the car was that it was going to be a normal train car with an open glass ceiling. It was a glass ceiling, but you had to climb up to the top of the train car, so you were sitting on the second story, which meant that you couldn't see the ground. So you're driving through the mountains in the trees, and you're basically just looking at trees. Like your treetop level. And it was stupid, and it wasn't even like vertigo, but it was kind of vertigo. Like, it didn't make me dizzy, but it did not make me happy. My equilibrium was all kinds of shot because you couldn't see anything but trees. So James and I actually went down and sat in the snack car, which was like the next car over, and you could see the ground, and it was so much more interesting because they're talking about all these things that you couldn't see from the dome car. It also, oh, here's the little town. Really pretty. Very beautiful. It was this. That's what they were calling it. They said there were snacks in that car. So yeah, it was really pretty. The town was beautiful. We had a lot of fun walking around. I found this goober. There he was with tickets and coffee. What Pokeball did you use on that one on the right? Marriage. I used Marriage. It was super effective. But hey, chat. Look at that beautiful sky. When I tell you, we got on the train and it started pouring. So our lovely view that was even more obscured. Hey Allison, no worries. It was, look at the rain. torrential pouring. The ride back was fine. But between the rain moving down the windows, only seeing treetops, I was like, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. It was like a waterfall, yeah. Like, look at look at the water. And then they're telling like the story of like different things along the rail line. And there's mention that there was a hotel there at one point. It burned down, and the kids were like, it burned down? We can't see it anymore? Yeah, guys, sorry. We ended up going back. Well, I don't know why we didn't do it that day. But we ended up going back on the day that we were leaving. There's also a jail there. What the heck was the name of it? Do you remember, James? That's like very famous. The old jail. The old jail in Jim Thorpe. And so we went there on our way back, and that was interesting. I did not take any pictures because I feel like that's not the kind of place that you take pictures. You can find pictures online. But a lot of very traumatic or tragic rather things happen there, and you just don't take pictures of things like that, you know? But that was really interesting. So yes, if you're ever in PA in the Jim Thorpe area, it's a nice town. It's got some cool things. There are a bunch of museums we didn't go to because it's just not, but the shops are really cute. Oh, James took pictures because he doesn't care about upsetting the spirits that live in jails. Or this one. So here's me. Hello? Hello. This was like the exit. And then, yeah. That was the view from the warden's window. There were gallows that people were hung from in this building. So yeah, no, I didn't take pictures. Nope, not inviting that into my phone, into my life. Thanking you. The rainy train ride was quite lovely. It was one of those things, like, again, you had to pay extra to be in this, like, train car, and I was like, I don't know. Like, it was so soggy. But you can see what I mean. Like, you couldn't see the cool bridge from there. Like, everyone was just standing up on the train in, like, that platform because you just couldn't see down below. Like, they're talking about all these things, and you're like, you just couldn't see it. So, it's a recreation. Well, yeah, because the original one, like, didn't come apart. Or, like, it came apart. Yeah. Yeah, like, people were walking around. So the jail was in use until, like, 96? Like, 1996? And, like, they had 95, okay. They had, like, solitary was a dungeon, basically, and people were, like, walking into the cells in the dark, taking pictures with their phone lights on, and I was like, nope, I'm gonna stand right here. I'm gonna stand here, and I will look. But, like, this place, Nope. Nope. And again, like, they're telling you, like, if you want to look into this, it's literally called the Old Jail. There's a whole story of the Molly Maguires that were imprisoned there. They were coal miners, and one of them put, like, his hand, he was, like, wrongly accused and then hung. And he put his hand, like, he got, like, a bunch of, like, stuff off the ground and put his hand on the wall and said that his handprint would stay the test of time, basically proving his innocence. Chat, it's still there. They have cleaned the wall, they have painted the wall, they have damaged the wall and repaired the wall. The handprint's still there. They've had the wall tested where the handprint is and where the handprint isn't, and it still comes up as the exact same surface. Like there's nothing there. Like there's no chemical difference between the two. So yeah, it was a cool experience. I was not taking any pictures or doing like, nope. Mm-mm. Yeah, nope. Nope. There was a ghost tour. You definitely should have done. Well, so the weird thing was that James was originally going to go one day, and it was closed on what, Wednesday? Tuesday? It was closed a random day of the week. And so he couldn't go. Because he was going to do the ghost tour by himself, because I wasn't about to be a part of that. Morbid, but that's so cool. It's fascinating. It's so interesting. You cannot pay me to go anywhere. Literally, let me see. I wonder. There you go. If anyone would like to learn more. If anyone would like to learn more. There you go. Hi, Bear! I would not sleep for a week after. No, I don't blame you. I think ghost stuff is cool. I don't like being there in person. Thanks. It is a really cool, interesting museum. It does have a lot of very, again, there's a lot of like history. And I can appreciate places like that. But I think that there's also, hello? Who did the thing? Ah, no, I clicked on the wrong window. No, come back. Anonymous, thank you so much for the $15 towards my Switch 2. Thank you, thank you. I don't know why that didn't update, because that definitely put us more than 29%. Thank you so much. I do have some limits. Yeah, don't blame you. It was designed by the son of the man who designed the Eastern State Penitentiary too. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Does this update? We're at 31% right now. I don't know why the overlay isn't updating. Yay! Okay. This was cool. When it went around the bend, you can see, like, the train. James didn't want to take one of these pictures. But he did because I asked. And then my parents took one too. This is the cute little town. And there were a lot of fun little shops. But this was my favorite. Sillykins, this was the Silly Goose. You were there? Oh my god. Silly Goose merch, I know. It was one of those shops for, you know, it was, we didn't go in with the kids, because there were
I'm an arts and crafts master.
Some
Why
things.
did I always have this glue gun stuck to my arm? Ugh, ugh.
I really like it here. I think Megano 2 tap.
Allison, thank you for the 41 months. I appreciate it. By the way, for people who are just stopping in, I'm just kind of filling chat in. We went away for this last week, and I'm just showing chat some pictures. And then we will be getting around to doing some crafting. But we're just going through. Allison, I almost wrote down 41 instead of 27 on like your paper strip. I almost wrote down how many months instead of your number at your username. Anyway. So I'm just showing some pictures while we yap a little bit and catch up. So if you're coming in and you're like, this doesn't seem right. That's why. But seriously, thank you so much, whoever donated that $15 towards the Switch too. Allison, thank you so much for your resub. I hope you enjoy your emotes and your ad-free viewing. And of course, your ability to scream for another month. Okay, there's the outside. So cute. So fun. Definitely. We are open and we are silly. Yeah. It's a good sign. So then we let the boys walk around for a little bit. We took the kids. This is so funny, right? I told them that we were going back to the little park that was by the train. And we got there and they're like, where's the playground? And I was like, I said we were going back to the park. And they're like, but where's the playground? I said, there is no playground. Well, what's a park? I'm like, a park is a place with trees and and like benches, like picnic tables. And they're like, this is boring. I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. So there was a gazebo and we turned it into like a dance show. But it was, they were pretty upset at first. Tell them the candy store if you didn't have, I don't have pictures of the candy store. I know, the kids were like, where's the playground? And I'm like, I didn't say playground, did I? So there's also an old-fashioned candy store, which honestly always has the best candy. Find some bugs and play in the dirt. Yeah, the tricky thing was that there was cars like all around, and so yeah. But James really wanted to get like candy cigarettes because the boys were joking about how like neither one of them smoke, but after everything that's going on right now, you know, sometimes they're like, man, I wish that I had. So James was like, he bought a box of candy cigarettes for all the adults. And the lady behind the counter goes, would you like a box of 24 instead for $7? And James was like, yep, and pushes them all away. And she hands him like a brand new sealed box. It was great. Oops. So. Oh, goodness. That's a lot, Emily. I hope that you can have a sweet little treat afterwards. It was like the whole box. It was great. It was great. And then when we got home that night and the kids were in bed, James gave the boys each a box of the candy cigarettes and they lost. They were like, this is great. Because, like, they were just talking about how, like, yeah. It was fabulous. I got a bag full of gummy butterflies and they're so good. James got sour rope. Yeah, remember I told you I had, like, I loved these. Because, like, that's vacation with kids, man. Legos everywhere. Something to take the edge off. Snacks all over. The house was really nice. I really liked it a lot. I realized, I don't know if I have pictures on the slideshow for you guys. I didn't, like, take a nice picture of, like, our bedroom until after we had, like, already slept in it. You know, like, the bed was made all pretty and everything like that. But our room was, like, black. And it was dark. Like, at night, it was dark. Talented. But, and then there was the upstairs. And then this was the outside. There was a sauna and a hot tub, so James was in heaven. Mm-hmm. We were in the Poconos, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't mind saying now that, like, we're home. I wasn't going to tell you guys where we were going beforehand, but yeah, Poconos. The candy ones. Oh my god, that's so cute. That's so cute. I love that, Curious. Yeah. Were you really? That's wild. And there's a little playground. And like this was what you saw outside. I would honestly get a vacation home here. Oh, only rare Poke Dailies today? Well, I better get in there. Let's see. Yup. Thank you for the update. I did remember you saying something about the Poke Dailies at the beginning of stream, but I was tallying everyone's votes and I forgot to go back. But yeah, there were just deer everywhere. I don't know, again, if it's in the slideshow or not, but there were little baby deer all over. They're so cute. Oops. Oh, so then the day that we went to the craft store to get yarn, right? I'll fill you guys in if you've missed that story. I was wearing a dress, and little sis decided she also needed to wear a dress. So I told her that she could do a fashion show coming, like, because their bedroom was upstairs. So, like, she came to the top of the stairs and was like, I'm ready! And she all dressed up in her little dress. And then it was cute because, like, we were talking about how similar we, like, because we both had dresses, right? And she's like, we match. And I was like, we both have ponytails today, too. Her hair was in a ponytail. Mine was, and I'm like, and we both have glasses on. And she was just, like, loving it, right? And then, y'all, like, 5 minutes later, she walks back up and she goes, and our skin matches too. And I was like, you're absolutely right, it does. Like, I love little kids so much because, like, she just, you know, we don't have the same color hair, but we do have the same color skin. And I'm like, girl, you're right. But she was so excited to, like, match, and both of us have dresses on. It was really sweet. So then there was also a lot, again, just absolutely, that's so cute, I know. When I tell you that they love James, just, yeah, she wore his hat a lot. It was really freaking cute. So this is the blanket pattern that little sis picked out. And then this is the blanket pattern that Big Brother picked out. Now, it was fun. I think there's a couple. Oh, was it not? I thought that maybe I didn't, because it was like, or did I not upload them? Oh, I know where it is. Hang on. Here we go. Because I blurred their faces. This was them looking at, like, the phone and, like, picking what blankets they wanted. And so, it was really cute because they were, like looking and touch and being like, okay, but I want, like, he didn't want it to be blue and black. He wanted black. He liked the black, but he was like, I was like, we can pick any colors you want. Like, I basically explained the whole reason that we were going to Michael's. And I was like, you know, now we're going to go to the store and there's going to be a lot of yarn. There's going to be a lot of different types. I said, not all of them are going to work for for a blanket. I said, so I'll show you guys, like, where you can pick from. And then you can each pick, like, 4 or 5 colors, you know, depending on what you guys see. And they were all over the store. They were everywhere once we got in there. They were so excited. Bless my dad. He was excited because he found a Snorlax crochet kit, which I actually made for James. But he made the mistake of showing it to the kids. And so then I completely lost Big Brother because he loves Pokemon. And all he wanted to do was go look at the kits. And I'm like, I need go back. So my favorite was little sis had 5 colors and she was like, no, I only have 4. And I was like, no, look, like, I'm holding them. I'm like, count with me. 1, 2, 3. She goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. I was like, no, try again. And then she was like, oh, you're right. Like, it was really cute. She was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. And I'm like, I too like to buy yarn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. But so then, you know, I kept explaining to the kids, you know, when we were looking at the pictures, you know, I told them that, like, when, you know, I was a kid, I got to pick this, and, you know, when new kids join the family, you know, it's a special thing to get a blanket, you know, but, like, normally I make them for babies. And I said, you know, but you guys are joining the family too. And I talked about how I made, you know, the Ryans their wedding blanket when they got, you know, they became a family. And I was like, you know, just because you're not babies doesn't mean you don't get blankets too. So you guys but you guys are bigger, so you can pick, like, what you want. And that was just like, they loved that. They absolutely loved that idea. And so they were very excited. And when we get back, I will show you what they picked. And some of the redirecting that had to happen, because there were some choices made with colors, and it was funny because we were, like, desperately trying to, like, it's hard when a kid is like, I love this, but you as an adult are like, you're gonna hate it in like a year. You're gonna hate it in a year. I'll be right back. Thank you all for sitting through ads. I appreciate it. I got my gummy butterflies. You know that it's good, like, candy when it comes in, like, a bag? Look at that. That's delicious. Anyway. So I have yarn. So this was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, by the way. This picture. So Big Brother locked in and fell in love with this yarn. Which is in fact Christmas yarn. And the look on my brother's face, because, and Ryan too looks at me at one point and he's like, his room is blue. Like, I think it was like a slate blue or something. And he picked like this and like a different shade of green that didn't match, and black. He really wanted black yarn. And you could just see my brother's face being like, like, and even I'm like, how am I going to make this work? How am I going to make this in this style? And I was like, okay, well, I guess I could use it for the thin little gray. But we were able to pivot a little bit. Because my thing was, and you know, I was talking with my brother, neither one of us really felt like this was going to be something long-term he was going to like. Don't worry, chat. Don't worry. It's still happening, but differently. So, like, this was the green he picked. So, when I tell you it didn't really match. And then we also had black. And then, oh, it's military green. Yeah. Hang on, we'll come over here, okay? And then he also found this red. That's not the right one. This one. And everything clashed. And we were like... So at that point, he's distracted. He wants to go and look at, you know, the toys that are in Michael's. And so my brother and I are standing there. And James comes back at one point. And I was like, if we could sell him on another neutral, that would be perfect. My brother was like, that would be so much like... So it was cute because we were like, well, a brown would probably really go... Again, we're thinking about like what he's going to like long term. Not just like right now. So we ended up selling him on the Chewbacca brown. Okay, and these are his 4 colors now, for the 4 colors in the blanket. And I asked him, I said, you know, big brother, do you really like this yarn because it looks like Christmas? And he said, yes. And I said, would you like maybe a Christmas pillow that you can put on your bed with your, and I showed him like these colors. And I was like, that way it's like special, but it's not, your blanket isn't Christmas all the time. And he was like, I like that. And he loved the idea of having a special pillow to go with this. Like, he liked these colors. He just liked the Christmas yarn. But when I asked him if he wanted it in the blanket or if he just wanted to have, like, the yarn, he was like, no, I just really and I was like, so what if we made it like a special pillow? And he was like, yeah. And that became, he was sold. He was happy. He was locked in, you know, and everyone felt a little bit better because we all really were like, I don't think he's going to like Christmas. And not that you're going to have a blanket on your bed year round, but I just don't think that in like another year, I could almost see him being like, why is there Christmas yarn in this blanket? But that way, like, it was important to me that the kids got to pick what they wanted. Like, I didn't want to influence them other than, like, you need to pick, you know, yarn of, like, the same class or same weight or, like, not, you know, like, certain guidance. But I didn't want to, like, I didn't want to tell them no to something. But I also understood where they were coming from, you know. So then I have to figure out, I think that it might be kind of fun to do a, I just accidentally frogged part of this. I think it might be fun to attempt a planned pooled pillow. Remember we were talking about planned pooling the other day? Where, like, the yarn stripes on its own? I think that that would be a lot of fun. To, like, do one that looks like plaid Christmas. For these kids, life is full of turmoil. Christmas might be one day they associate that's better for them. Yeah, with good. Absolutely, it could be. I also, based on the horror stories I've heard, can't imagine them ever having, like, a true good Christmas experience, if that makes sense. I don't think that they've had very many good Christmases. So then, when we got back to the house, I said, okay, we have two choices here, big bro. We can do a blanket like this, which is just like this one, but with your colors that you picked. Okay? Or, I said we could do one like this, which is like chevron sort of style. And he loved this. So we're doing a corner to corner in panels. Like, it'll be multiple panels that are added together to make that style. So that's what he decided. So that's what his blanket is. And I think Allison is little sis getting a pillow too. Well, now she is. Now she is, because she's like, well, what about my pillow? So here were little sister's yarn choices. We had, this is purple. It's a very, very deep, what is this? It's called grape. Okay, it looks black down here. It's purple. We got hot pink. Hot pink. This is actually Big Twist. I was thrilled because I love how Big Twist works up. So the fact that this Michaels had such a wide selection of Big Twist, I was like, oh, heck yes. We got this color changing pink ombre. Orange bright. This kid likes bright colors. And sparkle pink. And honestly, right, because the blanket that she picked was this one. So this color is the joining color in between, and then these are the main blanket colors. But when she was counting them, she wanted, initially when I was trying to see if she liked this purple or a lighter purple, she's like, I want both. And I was like, well, we said we could get 5. And she goes, I only have, she's like, I know. And I was like, well, we have 5. And that's when she was like, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. And I was like, respect, but no. So now the thing that I have to decide for hers, and this was also fun, right? Is on okay. I gave her a choice too, just like I gave him a choice, and I said, okay, well, you can either do a big square like this where it grows from the middle out and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Or we can do a bunch of smaller squares that change color like this. So it's a pattern, right? Like you can see like those all have the dark purple on the outside, then one in, one in. Do you see the way that we're, right? So she liked this, which is fabulous because honestly, working on a really big blanket that starts small and gets bigger and bigger just murders your back over time. So yes, this will have more joining, and yes, that does stink, but also my back is thrilled by that. Now, the only thing that I have to decide, oh my god, they are very lesbian pride. I love that. The one thing now that I have to, that's not in the right order. It's fine. The one thing that I do have to ask the boys, so my favorite was that every single, like, they asked if we could work on the blanket then, and then if it was ready. And then each one of them wanted me to work on their blanket, and so I was like, listen, I can set a timer, and I can work on each of your blankets tonight. But like I'm not gonna, and I told them, like, this is gonna take a long time, like this isn't going to be ready probably until, like, it's gonna be a while. Every morning, can I see my blanket? Is it ready yet? So anyway, we have, like, here's our first square. It is lovely. I just don't know, and I'll ask you guys too, right? So this is about, they have full-size beds, not twins, so they're a little bit bigger. This measures around 8.5 inches. No, this will end up measuring about 8 inches. Right now it's 7.5, but I have to do like one more like border thing so that they'll join nicely. And I'm trying to decide if I should do one more like repeat, because then there would be, I think, it would be about 5 by 5, like the squares on the bed. Or if I do them smaller, and then there'd be closer to like maybe 10 by 10. I don't know which is the right call. I don't know if like I should repeat this like one more time so that they're like, the squares are like this big. Or little. This is what she saw. So I kind of, I'm not sure. Big squares for less joining? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. That's the thing, is that I'm hoping that I bought enough yarn. Based on how much, according to like calculators online, I have like, hang on. I have more than like 6,000 yards for both blankets right now. Which I'm hoping is enough for that size bed, based on what the calculations that I did. Maybe I should have gotten more. The other thing that's unfortunate is that, I bought all of this color that they had, and I would have liked to have gotten more. But considering that it's like the middle, or like the little joiny bit, if it's a slightly off dye lot, I'm hoping that I can hide it. Okay. Kind of like only one round of each color, but big squares will look good and less joining. Yeah, I can't tell. A mix. I don't know how that would work. Easier to make bigger than to frog. True. True. I could make enough to like lay it out, like how big it would be, and see, or even if I just made like 4, and then I could like, I don't know, because when I looked them up, but yeah, so what I was saying before ads was like, I tried to explain to the kids that like anytime someone has a baby in the house, they get a new blanket. And like when people get married, they get a new blanket, because it's when you join the family, you get a blanket. And I was like, and now since you guys are joining the family, I want you guys to have blankets. And I'm like, but you're bigger. Like babies don't get to pick what kind of blanket they get. And I said, but you guys, you're bigger and you can pick. And that's what we're going to do today. And they like loved this idea. So I found, for a full/double size bed, this was the recommended yardage, right? And that's for like an 80 by 90 blanket. Even though when I was looking at like, the differences between full and twin size beds. So we should be okay. I'm nervous about it. But we're gonna do the best that we can with what we got. So yeah, those are their blankets. They asked every day to see them and to see how much had gotten done. His was tricky only in the sense that I needed to figure out how big to make each stripe to make the blanket the right size. Where did that hook go? So like his took a little bit more time just because I didn't know how big at first to like make things. We got there in the end. But my favorite thing was that when we were, so this one includes overhang. This is a blanket calculator. This is a mattress top. So this, like the top here, I guess is 54 inches. So this one that's saying like 80 by 90, like that's including overhang, obviously. The boys are going to measure too, to like make sure that everything is going to fit the way that we want it to. But I think that this is going to be like the size of the big stripes on his, and then we'll do the smaller and so on and so forth. Oh, and you asked if she got pillow yarn. Yes. Yes, she did. And it's so freaking cute. I know. This is, she just turned 5, okay? Like last month or 2 months ago, just turned 5. Like I love it. I love it so much. Listen, originally she kept picking up like really skinny yarn. And we had to keep explaining, no, you have to pick one that's a little bit thicker because Megan doesn't want to cry. I mean, not quite in those words, but and then I don't even remember what she was looking up, but then I was like, look at this one. And she was like, oh, And that was that. So but then we got back to the house. Oh, hang on. There's some more pictures. Okay. So there, originally we had white sparkle yarn, but we switched it for pink sparkle yarn. I have to pick thicker yarn so I'll be ready for, yeah, seriously. I love this picture. Her little stuffy that she brought with her. And just like looking at all the choices, and I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god, I love these kids. So yeah. This was when we were trying to decide which purple yarn. And she was trying to tell me to get both. So then we get back to the house and the kids really were, they had seen me crocheting earlier in the week, so they've already been used to it, which was something that I kind of wanted to try and do, like, so that they could see it and ask questions, and they did, but that way they could kind of, like, prepare, and I could, you know, so we get back to the house, and they both insist that they want to help make their blankets, and I'm like, that's gonna be a little tricky. So instead, I'm like, well, how about I teach you how to crochet? So obviously we know we all start with chains. Also, I would like to point out that the little straps that hold the dress to the hanger, she insisted on wearing them like they were sleeves. And the boys were just like, that's fine. So her arms are through the little straps that hold it on the hanger. You're like, that, you know what? That's fine. You did that too? So they each picked a crochet hook out of my bag, and I explained how chaining works. And, you know, little sis was kind of like, about it. She preferred just stabbing the yarn with the hook, and holding the string. Now, Big Brother was absolutely enraptured. He could not get enough. So what I would do is I would hold the hook, like he would hold the hook, and I would wrap the yarn around, and I'd have him pull the loop over. And so that's how we practiced. I would wrap and he would pull, and we would just keep practicing wrapping and pulling, wrapping and pulling, wrapping and pulling. Y'all, this was a kid who, like, earlier in the week just wanted to play video games, just wanted to, like, you know, and all of a sudden, like, we're getting ready to finish dinner. And again, they struggle with food. And he's like, can we crochet after dinner? And I was like, yeah, if you keep eating as good as you are. You know, 'cause a lot of it is because they were malnourished. They have some struggles with, like, getting enough food. It's been a tricky thing. Luckily, again, the home that they were at before the boys was fabulous. Really, really did a lot. It's just still, it's a transition. So I was like, listen, if you keep eating your food the way that you are, I'm like, we'll definitely have time to crochet after dinner. We crocheted after dinner. We crocheted in the morning. He would not stop. He gave me a chain. This. Okay, you ready? Are you ready to love these kids even more? Obviously my phone, right, has Patch on it. I showed them pictures of the cats. And I explained to them that I have a foster cat right now. And Big Brother goes, we're foster kids! And I was like, you are? And he's like, what does it mean for the foster cat? And I was like, well, I said, you know, he didn't have a home, and so we're taking care of him until he finds, you know, his family. And he's like, he was just could not get over this. I showed them pictures and videos of Mittens, and he just, can I make a toy for him? Can I make stuff for the foster cat? You bet you. So I have yarn. And then they were both so hung up on me making a ball, which I didn't have stuffing, which made it really hard to try and make a ball. So instead I made a little tube, and he kept insisting that it was a gift for the foster cat, so that he could have a toy too. So luckily Mittens played along really well. So I was able to send this video and be like, wow, he really liked it. Which was great, because it was...
That to you.
It was just...
What do you think? Look at this, ready?
And he, like, is nosing it, he's biting it, and I'm like, oh, heck yes, buddy, thank you for this, because he is going to be thrilled. Like, basically, after we did chains for a while, I was showing him how to, like, put the hook through, and same thing, like, you know, yarning over, and, like, pulling through and everything like that, and how that makes, like, a single crochet. Because everything kept being like, well, what do I do next? What's next? What's next? Put it in his mouth. So luckily Mittens played along really well, and that thrilled Big Brother, because he was like, oh, heck yes. So we sewed up one end, because that was his idea. So yeah. But then I got updates after we left, because we had to leave a day early because James had to go back in for Air Force stuff. So we weren't able to stay as long as everyone else. Also, thank you for the stream streak. So everyone else, like my parents stayed another day, and then the boys and the kids stayed one more day after that. And then they stayed a little bit longer. So this was our last day there. You can see little sis in James's hat. Big bro in James's lap. They're having a snack in the clubhouse. We did bubbles. We did all sorts of stuff. It was a lot of fun. That we had Bluey. Oh gosh, y'all. When I tell you, they had such a good time. And then here's Big Bro picking out. There's his Christmas yarn. And you can see, like, we're trying to shop with both of them was just, it was really funny. It was very sweet. These pictures saved last because they were the ones that I blurred. Oh, that was from the fishing. I think that's all of my pictures. Oh no, here. So then I get home, and Big Bro is starting to crochet fully on his own. And just, I think Elf said, there's gonna be a lot of chains all over, because he was coming up with all different things that you could use these chains for. But he did that all by himself, like wrapping and pulling it over. By the time that Mom left, he was doing the whole thing by himself. Like, he loves it. And so then, because little sis picked a pink hook, but little sis wasn't really interested in crocheting, like, now Big Brother, he loved it. He picked a brown hook because the brown hook was cool, I guess. And so we're getting ready to leave, and I was like, hey, I said, you know, I really love how much you love to crochet. And one of the things that he said, and this I was like, yes, kid, I get this. Because every day the kids have quiet time. Like after lunch, either it's nap time or read a book, or we're not playing games, we're not watching TV. It's like quiet. And he at one point was like, I like crochet. He goes, it makes my brain feel quiet. And I'm like, kid, I get you. I understand. And he was like, I really like it. And he was talking about how like it's a good quiet time activity. And I was like, yep. So we're getting ready to leave. And I was like, would you like to keep that crochet hook so that you can keep practicing even when you go back home? And he was like, yeah, because like he was already talking about like wanting to get yarn and wanting to buy like stuff. And so he kept his brown crochet hook. So I ordered a new one. I ordered a new one already to replace it, but he kept it. And then my favorite was the day before my parents left, or the day that my parents left. No, it was the day before. It was the day that we left. They went on a hike, right? And he's like, he's talking to my mom. He goes, you want to see something? And my mom's like, yeah, what have you got? And he reaches into his pocket and he goes, I brought my crochet hook with me in case I got bored. I was like, oh my god, I created a monster. I brought a crochet hook in case I got bored, and I'm like, you know what? That's fantastic, buddy. Just the hook. But then my favorite was my mom was crocheting a blanket for another fall, like for the cats at the shelter. And so he really loved the idea that like, for other, like they explained it more like, they're more foster cats, since he understood the idea of like the foster cat system, less of the shelter. And so my mom was like, yeah, I'm making like this little blanket for them. And so he kept on asking if she was done with the blanket, because she said that he could have her yarn when she was done, like what was left of it. So he kept on like, they literally FaceTimed me, and mom was like, how many rows did you do for your square? And I was like, it was 15. And he kind of goes, oh, because she was only on 13. And he was just like, I want that yarn too. His emotional support crochet hook. Yeah. Garland for Christmas trees. Yep. You can crochet with more than yarn. True. So it was really cute though. That he just like locked in and was like, he just loves it. So, I showed the boys too, and I was like, maybe we can FaceTime like once a week on weekends if you want. Like I can help you learn more and we can do more, and just but he's very excited. When my brain gets noisy, it's my go-to too. Absolutely. And I love that idea too, because they both of the kids were diagnosed with ADHD. I know that the boys will get them like have everything like checked. But like it, yeah. And so I just love the fact that it's like a quiet activity that holds his focus the way that like say Mario Kart does. Like he's just enjoying it. So yeah, it was nice. It was exhausting. Because all of these good things I'm telling you guys, I'm skipping all the bad stuff because that's their business. These kids have already gone through enough. They don't need me being like, oh my god, and then this, like, it's literally the boys, like, became their foster parents the Friday before they came up. So, like, a day or two before they came up with them. They're still in the process of becoming, like, legal parents and everything like that. It's just, that's how it works. So it's been a lot of change. And you know, it's not going to be smooth for a little while yet, but each day they were doing better than the day before. And you know, they're, like I said, the core of these kids, they are sweet. And the longer that they're there and they're in like a stable home with like rules that are, you know, reinforced and consistent, they're gonna do so good. My brother and his husband are in the process. They just got married recently. By the way, Allison, this is your sub-star. Thank you. No worries. I love it too, Saren. I really do. It's been it was, you know, it's funny, like, it was exhausting. And, you know, James and I were both like properly wiped out. But I bet you, I know that I was sad to see them, to like say goodbye. And I'm sure that James was too. Like, it was just, it's hard when it's not your own house too. And then just, there was a lot of stress. So, yes. And you know, one of the things that was really cute when we were in that little park with them, not a playground, chat, a park. One of the things the boys were having, it was a rough day. And they didn't get to walk around any of the shops because they forgot that the kids had therapy. So they had to go back to their car and do like their therapy session. And then there were some other things that happened. And so they really were talking, like, they were the ones that told us about the silly goose, and they really wanted to go and walk around in it. And like we said, it's not really an appropriate shop for kids. Like, there's a lot of, you know, like, there's a lot of stuff in there that's fine for kids, but then there's also, like, you know, a card about getting older, and it had, you know, saggy parts. You know, like, it's kind of that kind of a store as well. And so they were kind of bummed because they didn't get to go. And I was like, we'll take the kids to the park down the street. You guys walk around. And so that's what we did. We brought them back. But it was really cute, though, because when they saw the boys coming, and, like, once they crossed the street, the way that the two of them just, like, ran and jumped into their arms, I was like, okie dokie, like, that's it for me, like, done. Like, that got me all kinds of emotional, because, like, here are these kids who they just love so deeply and so badly, like, want to, like, oh, it was so sweet. So, so here's a thought, and I'm open to hearing what you guys think. We could work on these blankets a little bit. We could, I was originally going to say maybe we could diamond dot today because I wanted to try and get another session of diamond dots in this week. But it's 4:45. So, do we want to maybe make another one of these instead? I am waiting for the boys to get back to me on Big Brother's bed, because evidently it's like a, what? What? I gotta fix this. Oh, I got you. I just have to get measurements before I keep working on his, because I want to make sure that I'm making the stripes the right size. Her blanket's a little easier because it's just like squares, so I can just add or subtract squares to make it work. His will be easier long term because it's just a corner to corner. So we'll work on hers right now. Oh, it's honestly, I love it. I really do. Like, James and I have talked in the past about like fostering and things like that, and it just, I don't know. They're so sweet. Oh, yay! I'm gonna be posting like one a day over there right now until it's all caught up. But that's good that people are seeing it. Because I realized that I should just cross post. And I hadn't been. Oops. So I think what we should do, hang on, let me, do I just have 3? One, 2, 3. No, I should have 4. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. My brain didn't want a brain. So I have it set so that it would alternate, because that will also help, like, even out how much yarn is used. So we will do, like, the next one in the pattern, if that makes sense. My favorite thing that they kept asking me was, like, how do you know what to do? They're like, how do you know how to make this? Because one of the things that I kept trying to tell them was that, you know, if I set like a timer and I work on each of your blankets for 15 minutes, one of your blankets might look more finished than the other ones, because they're 2 different patterns. Like, we're not making the exact same thing. Just trying to tamper expectations. I'm like, and one of them, this kind, I've never done before, so it might take me, longer. But it was really cute. They're like, how do you know what to do? And I show them, like, well, there are things called patterns, and it tells you instructions. Like, you read the instructions and it tells you, like, how to do it. And that was just amazing again. Because, like, again, I haven't done this design before. I'm trying to figure out, let's try a magic ring version, maybe. Let's try it. It will need an edge. I just don't know if I want to do it in, like, what color I want to do it in. Or if I do need a separate color. Maybe it does need an extra one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. I just want to be sure that there's enough of each color before I do that. So and the other thing too is I don't know if we want to make them bigger, or if we want to make a bunch of small squares. Like, I don't know if she wants less squares but bigger, or more smaller ones. So yeah. Yeah. Okay, hang on. I think this is right. One, two, three. So how was your week, chat? What did you guys get up to? Did anyone do anything fun? Oh, babies. Anyone work on any projects? Finish Donkey Kong? Nice. Okay, so if I do it this way... Okay, that's what I needed to figure out. Okay. Oh, the cat mail game? That looks like fun. Now, one thing that I'm trying to figure out is if there's a way of not having to cut and join this on each round. Because that's so many ends to weave in. So I'm trying to figure out if there's like a good way of hiding it. I just cut and joined it in the like when I was doing it around the kids, because I knew that they weren't going to have the patience to like wait while I, you know, fumfered around. Three prints. Ooh, what did you print? Oh, was that the Ditto that you posted? Oh my gosh. Wait, I love that. Oh, embroidered her name. That's sweet. Ooh, my goodness, you were busy, Allison. Handmade local yarns. Yeah. Didn't have the funds, yeah. Love to go back. Welcome back, Smoothie. Crocheted over them, yeah. I always worry about them coming undone. Finished a sock? Heck yes. Love that. Do I... Sure. What tool do you use to unknot it? Cursing? Honestly, I normally use the needle that I'm stitching with. And a lot of bad language. Unless it's too tough, and then scissors. Are you using floss that came with like a kit, or is it like DMC thread? Oh, a single strand. I wonder, honestly, if normally when I get knots, it's more than one strand. Normally. Typically when you're doing cross stitch, like the embroidery kit that I did, I used at least 2 strands on everything. Unless it told me to use more than 2. Oh, for the beading. Yeah, it could be tricky with beading because you have to obviously fit it through the beads. Which becomes its own sort of tricky thing. But it could just be, honestly, that the thread is, like, weaker. How long is it, too? Because if you're using, like, a really long piece, sometimes it just wears out, and if it gets, like, a knot and you have to, like, unpick it, that can cause it to, like, snap, too, just because it's, like, worn out. And then it was almost like a weak spot. Catch myself sometimes doing that on accident. It could be. Claire! Hello! Welcome, Raiders! How are you? How was your stream today? What were you getting up to? Hello! Welcome in! What were you doing today? Let me get you a raid star. My name is Megan. I am a neurodivergent variety streamer. I am usually cross-stitching, crocheting, or knitting, but we also do diamond dots and perler beads and miniatures and all sorts of crafty things. I actually just got back from a vacation, so like the beginning of stream today was just me yapping a lot and sharing pictures. And we are currently working on some blanket squares for my new niece and nephew. So welcome in. Let me make you this raid star pen, please. Co-working ended up showing my first embroidery project. Ooh. Ads, excuse you. We're welcoming new raiders. You can wait a minute. Older because of being a kit. Maybe try a different needle. It could be. Yeah, there's a lot of things that could be doing that, unfortunately, Smoothie. I can knit, but I haven't tried crochet yet. Oh, well, if you ever have any questions, you are more than welcome to ask, even if I'm doing a different activity. That's one of the things that I really enjoy about Twitch, is just being able to talk with chat and help out when people have questions. So if you're wondering about all of the bunting banner on my stream, it's my birthday in a week, and so we are going to be doing some celebrating this month, and it should be just a good time. We're also celebrating my affiliate anniversaries coming up right around my birthday, so it's just, you know, time to celebrate. So, a few days, maybe 2 weeks, the patience, yeah, it does. It's very relaxing. I find it, at least. There is your raid star. Thank you so much for bringing your community over and trusting them here. For brand new raiders and friends, we like to play a raid video just to give you a taste of the silly shenanigans and comfy, cozy, crafty vibes that you can expect here. So I hope that you enjoy this. If you have to raid and run, please make sure that you do take care of yourself. And if you enjoy this, consider dropping a follow. It's free, and then we can see you again. Okay, be right back. Say hi. Hi, I'm Megan, and welcome to my stream. We have cats in hats. Dear diary. Dear diary. I dressed as an orange for you. It worked. You're so cute. I can't. I love your face. Nailed it first try. And welcome to my birthday stream.
Less than 3,333,333,333,333. Love my family at the moat.
Artemis is staring into your soul right now. Y'all, look at it. You're getting so much maple silliness. Oh, you like the lesbian? Enjoy this video. If you do, make sure you hit that follow button. So, raiders and friends of the moat, I have a question, and that is, are you ready for some shenanigans? /in chat if you are. I'm so sparkly! So sparkly. Alrighty, raiders, moat friends, can we get some readies in the chat if you are here and ready for shenanigans? It is a free follower emote. Feel free to spam it. Thank you again so much for bringing your community over. I appreciate it. And yes, we do have a lot of stuff happening too next week. Birthday celebrations and all that, so should be fun. Aw, yeah. So many people ready for shenanigans. I need to figure out how to carry this thread. I don't want to keep doing all this stupid stuff. I don't want to have all these ends to weave in. He's supposed to be. That's what they're telling us. I don't trust the military anymore. I have been burned one too many times, but that was the promise that they made, so... Yes. That is the military for you. Yep. Yeah, my husband was just gone for 8 months for school, came back, has been home for less than like a month, and is away again. So, you know, thriving. You were home for a month and a week at best. Yeah. My husband was originally Army, now he's Air Force, so yeah. Okay. Ads are about to play, which means we are going to take a quick stretch break, and when we get back, we will keep working on this little, I don't know, shell blanket. I'm going to try and figure out during this stretch break besides stretching, how to not have to cut each one of these in between rounds, because that's just a waste of yarn, and I don't want to waste yarn. Okay, I'll be right back. We'll play some words. Alrighty. Thank you all so much for sitting through ads. I appreciate it. So, I was looking, I was kind of curious about things that people have made with the yarn that little sis picked out for her pillow. It does, yeah. It might end up just being like almost maybe like a moss stitch or like a single crochet style square. Like it might not be anything fancy because like that to me, that looks good. Like whatever this is. Yeah, it's definitely got to be simple for sure. It was good. It was exhausting. It was very tiring. But it was very nice. The kids are so sweet. They had a great time. Yeah. We all needed a vacation after our vacation, but that's okay. This is so the kiddos like part of what wait, I have to reverse this every round. That was something that people mentioned to keep it from twisting. The kiddos got to pick out the yarn they wanted for their blankets this weekend or this week when we met them. So this is the little girl's blanket. We're doing like little shell squares. Some yarn needs a fun stitch to shine and some shine on their own. Yeah, for real. I have made emotional support buddies before, yes. We do have to finish the chicken that we started in our pattern roulette. He's still sitting here on the desk. Hi, sweet girl. What are you doing? Yeah. So she's 5 and these were the colors that she picked. We got like hot pink. We got a really pretty orange. We got a really, it's hard to tell. This is like a really dark purple. And then a really pale sparkly pink. So honestly, it's a vibe. I'm here for it. And she picked out the design that she wanted for the blanket, so... Ooh, did I see this? Goodness gracious, Chunky Link! Oh, that's so fun! Pop up, go away. Stop it. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. With the little hello friend. And he comes with a flower pot too! Oh my gosh. I love it. I love that Curious. Yeah, and you know, truly the camera is not doing a great job picking up this purple. Oops. But that's okay. See, this is where I'm like, I just don't know how to carry this yarn up to like the next row. Without having to cut and rejoin it every time. I mean, I'll do it for her if I have to. Like, I'm like, that's a pastel lime green and the label says yellow. Okay, now this. Yeah. Now I wonder. Yeah, I'm mostly just trying to, like, not trying to be smart about my yarn usage, but I think that we might just have to trim and carry on, you know? Yeah. The way that I'm like, I should have bought more. What if I run out? Every crafter's worst nightmare. You want to drive back with me, James? I said I'm worried about having enough yarn. We should have bought more. You want to drive back with me? Yeah, I'll definitely just check, like, my local store. That was me seeing if James was paying attention. See, is there a way? I think I might just have to cut and rejoin every round. I'm trying to think if there's, like, a way I can... worries. I was like, the cheat. Oh! That threw me for a second. That is interesting. Like, not being able to see, like, the shade differences. You know, honestly, sometimes it's hard to see the differences even if you don't have that sort of issue until all of a sudden you're looking at it and you're like, why doesn't this look exactly the same? Or you're like, something about this seems off and you can't quite place your finger on it. They're the exact same. What do you mean? Mermaid, thank you so much for the lurk. I appreciate it. Eyes are just done for. Rip. I swear it feels so wrinkly and then you lay it down and it's all like, it flattens like right away and it's like, oh, okay, maybe it's not that bad. All those double crochets just feel chunky. That sounds similar. Do I continue in Light Peaks or do I swap to Pokopia for the DLC? That is a dilemma. I say follow your heart fire when it comes. I wonder if I refresh that. No, it's still... Oh, no, it does say 31% funded. Okay, it did fix itself. Good. That's exciting. I would love to be able to play Pokopia for my birthday. So one of the things that was really cute, and one of the things that we had to constantly remind the kiddos of was, you know, inside voices. There was, the first day that we were there, a severe lack of inside voices, and James and I were both like, I don't think I can survive this if this continues. It luckily stopped pretty quickly because I was about to I was an overstimulated mess. But my favorite then was a couple of days later, we're all playing Mario Kart as a family. And my mom, who's never really been great at it, is doing pretty good. And Big Brother is like, you know, you just gotta keep trying this and the other thing. And then my mom is now like the one who's squealing and yelling. And I jokingly say to her, I'm like, Mom, use your inside voice. So then the next time that she did it, he looks at her and goes, remember inside voice. And I was like, the fact that he heard me say it meant that he could like tell an adult that too. And my mom started cracking up. She's like, you're so right. I should be using my inside voice even though I'm excited. But I definitely think that whenever I get my Switch 2, I'll transfer my Animal Crossing game over. And I'm going to gift my parents the other Switch. That way, I mean, obviously the kids have one. So like they don't necessarily need to, but that way, because then everyone can play together. So yeah, it'll be fun. That's the plan. Does your overstimulation stem from ADHD? It might. I feel like it could stem from any one of the many, mental health things I've got going on, because it plays into so many of them, if that makes any sense. Like, if it's a sensory overstimulation, sometimes that feels more like ADHD, like autistic ADHD style, versus like there's too many, like it kind of, it varies. I almost want to say how it affects things. So like for me, the sound, it would, no, you're so good. It was, we're in a new place with new people. So there was a lot of like new stuff. And then there was, I don't know why, he just liked to scream like a dinosaur. Like the only way that I could describe it was just like a constant, every once in a while, just like a screech that was not nice at all to listen to. So I don't know why, but that's kids for you. That do be kids. I wonder. Oh, it does, for sure. And it can be kind of hard to say, like, oh, it's because of this, or oh, it's because of that. Yes. Agreed. And luckily, once we started to remind gently, and again, the boys are the ones who are doing the main thing. It's just like if we were in the room without, we would be like, remember, like we're using our inside voice for inside. Once and again, I really think that these kids are going to be like, again, there were times where the boy, like Ryan were like, you could tell, just exhausted. And I kept reminding them, I'm like, these kids are going to be different people come Christmas. Because they'll be in your home. It'll be, consistent. Oh, I have to change direction, Megan. You silly sausage. I'm like, you're going to have like consistency. Like, they're going to do so much better. You know, just keep reminding yourself of that. Like right now, yeah, it sucks. But like they're going to change so much so quickly. No worries, Smoothie. Silent hour when she's overstimulated. Yeah, doesn't say a word. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And different people react differently to stimulation. Some people shut down like that. Some people get angry. Some people, like, it kind of runs the gambit, really. Yeah, I had to frog it and rotate it. I forgot people were saying that makes it lie a little bit nicer. Most like squares or things that you're working in rounds like this, when it's supposed to lie flat, do better if you alternate. This is like easy once you get used to the rhythm of it, like what you do. The original instructions, and especially because I had, you know, two kids who were very good helpers, insisting that they help me with my project, was a lot more challenging. They were excellent helpers. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. It's it's impressive how loud kids can get. I like how I said, oh yeah, once you get into like the rhythm of things, this is easy. We're not talking about the fact that I just frogged it again. We're not talking about it. This is only the second one I made. It looked pretty what I did. I also feel like kids are different in classrooms versus, like, I don't know, on trips and things like that. Yeah, that makes more sense. What I was doing. What I'm doing now, that is. It's fine. No, no. Come back, Yarn. So, I brought my cross stitch with me. I didn't work on it. But I'm 11% away from being done. And it feels so close, but also so far. Because, like, that's still so much, but, like, it's right there. Yeah, it's hard. Because, like, you want to just, like, power through and work on it, but then it also feels like you're just not making progress. It doesn't seem like there's only 11% left to do, but I guess. That's what it says. I've been enjoying the smaller projects. That's okay. My normal time, so I'll be done around 6. Hopefully you guys won't mind me working on these projects on stream a little bit, because that's definitely going to help me get them done for the kiddos. So it's 5:40 for me, so about 20 more minutes, give or take. Yes. Just one more section. Yes, Allison. You're like, just one more percent. One more this, one more. Like, the way that my brain is like, well, if you can do around like 400 stitches, that's about a percent. So you just gotta, like, really push through and just keep doing. Like, just keep going. That's like me with snacks. Honestly, we now get like the snack or like the chip bags that are like almost like lunch bags, like the ones that you put in your lunch. And that's been so helpful because otherwise I'm very much the same where I'm just like, oh, just one. Like if I have like a big bag of chips, be like, oh, just one more. Oh, just one more. But if it's like the pre-portioned ones, I've only got what I got. But I absolutely understand that. No, listen, no judgment here. Sometimes if I really want, I'll have a whole other snack. Yeah, no, I mean, I do that too. Remember, chat, food is fuel. Okay? Eating is important. It's okay if we eat some things that aren't, you know, quote unquote healthy. I'm sharing with me, myself, and I. I see no problem here. Nice! That's amazing. Congratulations. Dang, 10 days? Holy cow. I dropped it. I saved it. Carrying on. Oof. That's a lot. I like how stubborn I am, even though every single time I'm like, I don't think this is going to work. Each time I'm still trying to figure out a way that I can carry this yarn in between rows. Oh, goodness. Going to school is not easy, that's for dang sure. Especially when you're working. So props to you. I hope that you're able to take a nice break at some point. I do believe I hear Mittens, who has been doing so good, by the way. He has now been, like, out with the girls during the day, and he bothers them for a little while, and then he'll play with them play for a little bit. He'll try and play with them, which normally doesn't end the way that he wants. And then after everyone plays for a while, he ends up just taking a nap. It sometimes takes a little bit of time where he, like, wants to wander around the house and check everything out, and, you know, is just kind of being an all-around menace. But, like, today, it was, like, pouring torrentially outside. And I'm just sitting on the couch, and I've got him sleeping next to me, Pippin sleeping in her cat tree, and I was like, you know what? I can handle this. Like, everyone just kind of leaving each other to do what they want. Which is good for him, too, because it gets him out and, like, around people a little bit more instead of just, like, on his own. So I'm happy with that, too. And then he goes back in while I'm streaming because I don't want to have to pay attention to him while I'm trying to also talk to you guys and, you know, count a pattern and whatever else I'm doing. But, yeah. Mittens the Menace, yeah. Also, welcome back. I remembered to turn it this time. Yay. I paused for a minute because I thought that I made a mistake with the color sequencing, but we're good. If you're wondering why the light just left my eyes all of a sudden. I was like, oh no. Oh no. I'm done with summer. Can I please have winter back? That was honestly one of the really nice things about just being in the Poconos was that it was so much cooler. Like, it was the kind of weather that I can get behind, where, like, during the day, you're in shorts and a t-shirt. At night, sometimes you'd end up putting on, like, a light sweater. Like, yes, sign me up for that. Oh, look at this bright pink. The color change. Originally, I was going to use the sparkle yarn as the in-between part. And then I realized that the multicolor would look really cool instead. Yeah. It was really cute. The kids both really wanted to like take the labels off of the yarn. And I tried to explain to them like why not to. And I like let them take it off of one. And I also had brought like my own skein of yarn to like work on a project. And they took it off of that one, which was like a big skein, and it like poofed. And they were like, they're like, look, it looks like a pillow now. And I'm like, yeah. Great. Looks cool. I think so too. Because it can be kind of hard when like the multicolor changes in a spot where you're not really loving it, like how it looks. But I feel like doing it here, it's in between a bunch of solid color, so it's not really, I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, yeah. Okay. Who's paying for these dinners? Sure nice that you guys keep going out together as a big old group. Okay. Just making sure. I was about to say, boy, you're staying home and having some ramen. Oh, spent almost $200 on yarn, which was fine. Not for me, though. It's not yarn for me. Did you guys like the bag that I got? Because I knew they were going to, like, put them in, like, plastic bags. And I was like, let me just get, like, reusable ones. Each of the kid, like, one for each of the kids. And just be done with that. I love girl math. Yeah, Spoink is having a great time in the corner here. Hooray, I caught it. She was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Yep. She already, listen, he is the one that is like loving crocheting, but she's the one who knows how to get that yarn. It kind of like made me like smile too, because that was the age about when I learned how to knit. And it was my Aunt Shirley who taught me how to knit. And I was like, look, it's Aunt Megan teaching him how to crochet. The cycle, it continues. Aunt Shirley would be so proud. Right? It's the circle of crafts. Oh, look at this one. She did do a good job picking out these colors. Yeah. So little sis just turned 5 like a month ago. And then big bro is 8. And then it was cute because my mom FaceTimed me with a question. And then like she and big bro were on the phone with me, and then all of a sudden right, okay, typical FaceTime little kids. Here comes little sis. Can I see your house? Like just an eye all of a sudden appearing in the corner. Can I see your house? I was like, you want me to show you around my house? Yeah, sure. Can I see the outside? Sure. So we went on a little tour of my house. And we told them they're gonna come here for Thanksgiving. And they'll get to like see it in person then. But it's just like that little eye all of a sudden just like creeping in, like this phone call's not about me, but all of a sudden in true little kid fashion. And the kids really like, so do my brothers, they really love like gardening. And so, we showed them like some of our flowers and things like that. And he is so excited because he's going to save me seeds at the end of the year when the flowers die, and he's going to bring me some. And I told him I would trade him some of ours. Because he's really proud of his zinnias this year. I told my brother, I told both the boys this. I was like, give yourself like some grace too. Like these kids have been through it. And like, you are doing amazing. And I'm like, this is going to be such like a short, bumpy period in their life. Like it's going to change so fast. Now that they're not bouncing back and forth between houses. I see your house. Now that they have consistent rules, consistent like meals too. All of these different things are just going to routines and schedules, and just all of that stuff they'll relax more and more. Because I have no doubt that like some of the struggles at the beginning of the week were just because it was change again. They went from one house to another. I don't know if they realize yet that it's like a permanent move, like that they're not going back to their previous foster home. Because again, the boys would take them for like weekends or sometimes like a week at a time. So it'll be interesting, like when they understand that, because they're at an age where, I'm sure that they've already been told, but like having that actually like fully comprehend. Yeah. There's definitely some struggles. And there's definitely a lot of like age regression. Like certain behaviors that you wouldn't normally see in kids those age. Which is also why I'm glad that they were able to get them before the school year, so hopefully, they can work out a lot of the struggles over the summer. So that way when like the kids start school, hopefully it'll be a smoother transition, and because they're luckily young enough that a lot of the little things that are kind of quirky aren't really going to bother other kids yet, you know? So, and again, like I said, we're not going to go into it, but like some of the things that I have heard from the boys about like what these kids have gone through, I just, like you said, I don't know how people can be so like forgiving, so willing to like trust and love again. It's wild. Yeah. Yeah. Like the boys were saying, here they are like trying to get ready to do, like this trip and pack for that, but they also had to inventory all the stuff that the kids came with. And it was one of these things where I was like, why? And they were explained, I guess, that the way that their state does things is that, if the kids say are lacking in an area, the state will help like provide things. So, kids grow. So say that like they don't have a winter coat now because they outgrew their old one. The state will either provide another coat or like provide the funds to help get another coat. So like I understand like the inventorying in that sense. Like they're trying to make sure that these kids have like enough of what they need. But like they also were trying to do it on like the day that the kids are moving in with them. They're also trying to get ready for like this vacation. Like it was just so many things and the boys were just like their heads were spinning. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. And like certain things, they like so he really loves Star Wars. My brother did too at that age, which is adorable to see. Um, but we had on episode 1, right? I don't know. It's when Darth Maul, you know, and Qui-Gon, and there was a lot of asking about that and about, well, why did he die? And thing there. And again, that's kind of common for kids of that age, understanding all of that. But then we were playing Lego Star Wars the next day, and we had to keep on like fighting each other, even though that's not like how you play Lego Star Wars. Like we were in a mode, and it was cute because he asked me to play with him, and I was like, yeah, I've definitely played this with my brother, But all he wanted to do was like keep reenact, like, because again, that's how they process things. Um, so that was funny. They have their own things, yeah. Well, yes, like that's the one nice thing, and to hear some of the horror stories of like some of the foster homes that they were in, to know that like the person who they were with before the boys was kind and caring and loving, and these kids truly, again, breaks my heart. They arrived to her really malnourished, and they're still on like the smaller side, if you will. Like they still need to gain. Um, but she evidently did like amazing with them. Um, and the amount of change in like the 6 months time that she had them, I'm like, it's just, and again, hearing the boys talk highly of her, hearing, the kids talk like nicely of her, it just, hopefully, like it was cute because they were saying that they had like a question about like one thing, one of the things we were trying to problem solve, and I was like, you should ask their other foster mom, and they were like, yeah, we don't really want to bother her. I'm like, here's the thing. I was like, yeah, okay, she's not going to be bothered. I'm like, she might not be able to answer you right away. I said, but from what you've told me, like, she loved these kids too, and she wants them to succeed. And if you even just preface it by being like, hey, no rush, but we were wondering X, Y, and Z, I'm like, I'm sure that you could do that for the rest of your life with these kids, and she will never be upset about that because you're loving these kids just as much, like they will, well, I guess not everyone, clearly, but the right people are in the foster, you know, that for the right reasons. Obviously not everyone, but you know, having a good person that you can like just be like, hey, we were just thinking this and this, bouncing ideas off. But like they came with their own toys, they came with clothes, they came with, you know, favorite things, and it's that's good. Oh wow. Yeah, it's hard. It really is. And it's sad too, like you said, because it takes them a while to unlearn and to feel safe. Um so took some time work to teach her she didn't have to store. Oh yes, and that's been like one of the things that like the boys have always, and like it's, you know, sweet because with them being a little bit on like the smaller side, like right now they're trying to make sure that they're getting enough food, which has been a little bit of a struggle. Big brother was doing better towards the end of the week than she was, but that's a whole different story I will not get into here because it is extremely upsetting. So there's a reason that she struggles more with food than he does. But she, like, the one thing that they keep telling the kids is like, you know, well, we put like, you know, 5 chicken nuggets on your plate, but we made extra. So if you guys want more, let us know and we'll get them for you. And if you don't want more, like, you're going to eat what's on your plate, but if you don't want more, we're going to put the leftovers in the fridge and they'll be there if you're hungry later. And just trying to teach them, like, you know, the other day when we were out, when we got off the train and one of them was like, I'm hungry, instantly brought out snacks, you know, different options, you know, well, let's try and have, like, they have like protein bars and like, you know, different kinds of things. But like, and the way that they kept reiterating to them, if you're hungry and you tell us, we will make sure that there is food. Even if we don't have food, we will find food somewhere. Like, you know, say that we're out someplace, you know, where you can't bring food in, like a movie theater or something. Like, you will always have food, you know? And it's just getting them to understand that. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. Yeah, and that was that was one of the things too, and this I think is also important, is that they would ask them like, do you want this or this with your dinner tonight? So like, we're having chicken tonight. Do you want potatoes or do you want broccoli? So like giving them agency to choose, but like you have to have a vegetable with it. Like you can't just have, you know, but you can pick which one you want. And then if all of a sudden they didn't want that vegetable, but like they didn't want the other one either, they're like, well, you did say that this was the vegetable you wanted tonight, so we're going to eat it. Like, you know, giving them agency, but also giving them rules is kind of important. Like, you can't walk all over us, but you can also make decisions for yourself that will respect. Like, it's a tricky balance for sure. Yes, and seeing that they don't, you know, get that they might get timeouts, you know, but they're not going to get hit or screamed at or things like that. Like, you know, your actions have consequences, but they're not actions now that you have to be afraid of, if that makes sense. And again, some of this stuff is just doing it consistently and having it really get into their head. So yeah, they can be picky, yeah. Yeah, no, and the thing too, like, one of the things that was really sweet, James loves asparagus. It's his favorite vegetable. He really wanted to make asparagus on this trip. The boys knew the kids have never had it, so it was not like, you have to eat this, but everyone got some and everyone was asked to try some. And then it was really cute because Big Brother only liked the ends that were crispy. He didn't like the more chewy stalk part. So the boys were like, okay, that's great. How about we cut it in half? Because he wasn't really sure if he wanted to eat it because it was a new food. And they're like, okay, we'll cut it in half and you can have the part that you like and we'll eat the other part. And that was fine with him. And so it's, you know, trying to also encourage them to like try new things, but also understanding that like new foods and stuff are going to be hard. So yeah, But then, you know, for instance, little sis didn't like the asparagus at all. She was like, I don't like this. And they were like, okay, well, thank you for trying. And the thing that they said was, you know, if we have it again in the future, we'd like for you to try it again, because sometimes we like stuff. And then we all started talking about, you know, James was like, yeah, I didn't used to like broccoli and now I do. And, you know, just being like, sometimes it's good to try stuff again because you never know, you might like it later. But like, it's okay, you know, thanks for trying something new today, kind of thing. Like, sometimes how things are cooked. Yes, I hate Brussels sprouts. I hate them. One of the ways that our meal kit makes them, I can tolerate. But that's literally the only way, and even then, I don't want a lot of it. You know? Like, yeah. Yeah. It's a tricky balance, especially when you're dealing with, you know, trying to make, like, they drink Pediasure and things like that, you know, just to try and help make sure that they fill in those gaps, if you will. You get multivitamins, all of those things. It's hard for sure, though, to like balance everything out. Especially when you got slightly picky eaters who, you know, need to eat. I like green beans at restaurants, don't usually make them the way I like. And my husband's family makes them too tough, so I don't eat them there. Yeah. And that's where I really liked how they were like, but we want you to try them again. Because you may find, like, James hated broccoli, but he loved the way that we made it. And so it's like, you never know. You might find a vegetable or a fruit or something that you didn't like before. You like the way someone else cooked it. And like, for instance, the kids were struggling a little bit with like certain kinds of protein. So we made chicken while we were there, but we breaded it. So it was just chicken breast, like it was normal, but we added like breadcrumbs, and they really liked that. And so it was like, okay, well, this is good to know, because like, you know, you can't always just eat like chicken nuggets and hot dogs, which was a lot of what they were eating, because again, fed is best, okay? You know? It's exactly, Allison. But like, okay, well, here's another food that they, you know, he housed the chicken the way that we made it, and it was like, again, like I kept saying to the boys, I'm like, they will be okay. Like, keep doing things the way that you're doing it. A lot of safe foods are pre-prepared because the taste and texture, etc., is consistent. Yes. And I made sure to mention that too. Because I know that as someone who has like food issues. Because like the boys were talking about how one time Big Bro was loving eating carrots, and then the next day he did not want them. And that's something, carrots can be really sweet sometimes, or they can be like really earthy. And it could be the same bag of carrots that has two different texture or two different carrot tastes. You know what I mean? And it's like, that can be so off-putting to kids who are like, no, I like carrots. And then they're like, why does this carrot taste weird now? And you're like, trust me, if I could find like the perfect apple and make every apple I ever eat taste like that apple, I would be happy. But sometimes I cut into an apple and I take a bite and I'm like, I'll still eat it, but I'm like, this is too sour, this is too tart, this is too sweet, like whatever it is, and you're like, damn. Be sure to, yeah, kids are humans too, they are. And I think that too often we think that kids, like like people in general, tend to forget that kids are learning how to do everything for the first time. Like, they've never had to say please and thank you. Like, they're literally learning everything for the very first time, and you got to have that patience with them and like teach them how to make those choices and like what they need, like the choices that they need to make so that they're healthy and whatever. Yeah. Oh, the beets have oh, interesting, Smoothie. Yeah. No, that could definitely be it. Sometimes I find if like my floss keeps breaking, cutting it into shorter strands so that it's not pulled as much can help it to not break as often. So like if you were saying that they're like, you know, 2 foot, maybe try doing like 1 foot. Like that can sometimes help too, because it's wearing thin. I'm so glad that you figured it out. Also, I'm sorry, that's really frustrating. You don't bring children in the world to be in control. Yeah. And I think too often people try to have kids that are basically mini versions of themselves. Or like I didn't get to be a star basketball player, so my kid's going to be, and the kid's like, I hate basketball. You know, like it's fine to put them in activities that you enjoyed as a kid, because that's the only way you find out if people like stuff. But like you also shouldn't force them to continue activities they hate. Like my kids will definitely go and take dance classes. For sure. Because I loved dance as a kid. But if they're like, if after a year they're like, I hate this. Do you want to try a different type of dance? No? Okay. Do you like gymnastics instead? Like, everyone, like, you have to do some kind of extracurricular. You know, like, it's important for a lot of different reasons, but like I'm not going to force them to do something just because I enjoyed it as a kid. It might be my jumping off point because I enjoyed it as a kid. Like, yeah, we'll do baseball and we'll do horseback riding. We'll do all these things because I enjoyed it. And if you do, cool. And if you don't, then we'll do hockey and we'll do football, whatever. Like, we'll figure it out. Leave out the old, yeah. Yeah. Yep. And it was nice to see, you know, like my parents follow the way, like I always knew that my parents would be whatever kinds of, you know, requests we had of them, they weren't going to try and force them their own parenting or whatever. Like my parents have always been really good about that sort of thing. But it's like fun to see them in like that kind of pseudo grandparent role. Like right now everyone's being called by their first name by the kids because again there's been a lot of like change, so we're not like, this is grandma and grandpa, because like, you know, it's like we haven't even added like aunt in front of my name. Like it's just Megan and Jimmy, because that's what James wants them, you know, Uncle Jimmy. So you know, it'll happen. Deny them an activity. Oh yeah, the only reason that an activity would be like denied is because it's not safe for their age, you know. Like, if they want to do something that's like, okay, well, you need to do this, like, you can do this when you're older. Like, listen to your parents' advice on how to parent, but if it's bad advice, you aren't obligated to use it, yeah. Extracurricular was Disneyland. That's fair. She wasn't going to step in unless I asked, because
I'm an arts and crafts master.
That's good,
Why
Elf.
do you think I always have this glue gun stuck to my arm?
That's really good. Because sometimes parents do. Procrasticrafting! Thank you for subscribing with your Prime for 11 months. That's almost a year? Dang. I hope that you enjoy your emotes, your ad-free viewing, and your ability to scream. Aren't they cute? I really like them. I'm going to like do... It's going to be like 4 different patterns, right? So like if you look at it, like the dark purple was on the outside, now it's on the inside. The next one it'll be here. And then the next one it'll be there. And it'll be like a repeating. And then I'll probably put them in like a diagonal. Kind of like how I did here. Oops. So that it'll like repeat and be a pretty pattern. She did a good job picking colors. She really did. She was very excited about the whole prospect. Yeah, I would agree with that. Alright, unfortunately ads are about to play. I ran out of snoozes. I snooze them as long as I can, so if you get hit with an ad right now, I'm very sorry about that. I tried, but it failed. So, let me... How many... So let's just say... These are like 7 3/4 inches. Are you also 7 3/4? Yeah. You give it to them and they're like, you made this? I know. One of my favorite things was every morning when we would get up, they'd be like, can I see my blanket? And I'd be like, well, remember, it takes time before it becomes a blanket, but you can see the progress that's been made, sure. No worries, Sharon. Have a good night. Yeah, I'm going to be wrapping up here in a minute because I have to go eat some dinner. So we'll say that these are going to be 8 inches by the time all is said and done because there's going to be one more row. So then it would be 10, like 10 square, maybe 10 by 10, the squares, if we kept them this size. Honestly, what I might do is I might make one in each, like, color. Like, the next one, like I said, will have purple here, hot pink here, purple, light pink, orange. Like, I might make one of each, photograph them in, like, my light box so that it's just this with, like, no background. And then I might, like, add, like, put it in Procreate and, like, multiply it out, if that makes sense, and see what it looks like as, like, a 10 by 10. If it's too much, then I know I should do it, like, one bigger. Yeah, it's probably the purple, but if you look, if I put them on top of each other, they're the exact same size. But yeah, that dark purple really throws it off on the outside there. It is your balls! And look, I've been weaving in my ends as we go. Aren't you proud, chat? But yeah, I'll probably make the other two. And then I can photograph it. I can lay it out. I can ask the boys. I can ask little sis what she thinks too. And I can even make one that's a little bit bigger and show them the options. So proud and hyped for future Megan. Listen, I have learned my lesson, and I will say that my ends will at least be woven in by the time that the square is done. Maybe not at the end of each row, but by the time that the square is done, the ends will be woven in. I do also really like how the color changing yarn looks in between. This will be pretty. And his is going to look really cool with the stripes. I'm just waiting to hear back from the boys to make sure that the bed is going to, or like I'm making it the proper size. So that's all. Okie dokie. Well, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today, especially while I just like yapped a bunch and showed pictures and all of that. I missed you all like a lot. And I'm looking forward to just kind of getting back into the swing of things. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna eat. I have deconstructed lasagna, which is just lasagna, but not baking it in the oven afterwards. Let me tell you, homemade lasagna without having to like lay out the new, like do all of that in the, it's so easy. It's so easy. So I'm excited though, because that's yummy. But I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be doing some more crafts. I'm thinking some more crochet tomorrow. We'll figure it out. Wednesday will be diamond dots. We'll figure it out as we go. Which, ooh, cheese ravioli. Oh. That's clever. That's a clever way to do it. Okay. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of your time zone. Thanks so much again for hanging out. Thank you, Anonymous, for the $15 donation towards my Switch, too. I'm really excited. We're 31% of the way there. Oh, my gosh. All right. Have a lovely rest of your time zone. Eat something tasty. Drink some water. Take your meds. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people. Remember, you are loved. I will see you guys tomorrow. Here's Discord. There's the button. And there's my socials. Oh, there's a new video on my socials. If you could give that a like, that'd be great. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.